So I spent a few relaxing days moored here at Lapworth. I also visited the National Trust Baddesley Clinton moated manor house, which dates back to the 15th century and was the home of the Ferriers family for more than 500 years. Really interesting place. It was interesting watching this lady do some repair work and restoration on some of the older books in the library. But it was time to move on and continue my cruise. My next challenge was going to be the Knoll lock flight. Originally a flight of 6 locks, the Grand Union rebuilt these locks in the 1930s, reducing the number to 5. The flight wasn't easy for a solo boater though, as the pounds between the locks had nowhere to tie up to while opening or closing the lock gates. So after climbing up through the locks and cruising slowly along a really tranquil stretch of the canal, I saw this heron, just one of many that I've seen on this cruise so far. Nice views out over the countryside. Just coming up to bridge number 72. Good to be on the move again though. Yeah. So this is bridge 73 that I'm coming up to. I'm right on the outskirts of Birmingham as well now, Solihull, Birmingham. Just coming up to the M42 motorway where it crosses the canal here. Getting more and more graffiti now though as we're coming along. So I'm just leaving my overnight mooring at Catherine de Barnes just before bridge 78. We've got a long day in front of me today. I have to get a good few miles under my belt. Good to be out early in the morning. Bird song, peace and tranquility. No other boats at the moment. One thing you really notice as you're coming into the more populated areas of cities and towns, the amount of junk in the canal. Certainly the birds are in fine voice this morning. Lots of landslips by the looks of things, and there's, as you can see, the trunks down in the edge of the water, but there's lots and lots of these logs around. You can see where probably the CRT have cut them down and stacked them there. Lots more graffiti now on the buildings. So, another boat coming towards me. It's the first boat I've seen all day. So I'm starting to see more and more industrial areas along the side of the canal. Once again, lots and lots of graffiti. You start to see the skyscrapers in. There was definitely some stark contrast though between some of the older factories and some of the newer ones that have been built up along the side of the canal, that's for sure. Some of the older factories along the side of the canal, getting very close to the Birmingham Central now. No doubt some of these buildings have been around since the time of the early canal. Makes you wonder, you know, what went on in those early days on the canal, and the boats coming up and down, and these old factories, the workers, how hard it must have been. And here we are, probably 200 years after the canal was first opened. Just arrived at the first of the camp locks, and I'm going down. See the big cranes, lots of construction, and a really old church through lock 4 and under bridge 93, and this kind gentleman's helping me go through. Just arrived at the last lock on Fazeley Junction, and this is obviously graffiti central. Bridge 99 on, and welcome to the Heartlands. There seems to be an endless number of derelict factories and warehouses here, and I wonder if it has anything to do with the HS2 construction. And it's not often you see traffic lights in operation on the canal network, but this is to do with HS2. So you can probably see from the trees, the wind has really picked up this afternoon. It's been a horrendous day, it's been blown all over the place. And what I've done, I've decided to stop. It's getting on, it's 4:30. Been going since 8 o'clock, so going to moor up here now. This is the Star City Secure Moorings, which is the moorings on the off side of the canal. As you can see, I'm now under the motorway bridges. Certainly hear the traffic, that's for sure. The noise of the traffic is unbelievable. Certainly wouldn't want to live in this area, that's for sure. And again, more of these old warehouses and factories. Most of them look boarded up, to be honest, but whether they are still being used is one. Got 14 locks to go through today, which after yesterday's 11. I think to get from Braunstone Junction, where I sort of started the cruise, if you like, to get up to the Macclesfield Canal, I've got to go through almost 130 locks. So, yeah, I should be quite fit by the time I get there. So with Birmingham now behind me, I've turned onto the Birmingham and Fazeley Canal at Salford Junction, and now I'm going down the 3 Minworth locks, a drop of 16 foot 8 inches. Sun's come out, finally, blue sky. Not cold, it wasn't cold before, but it's always nice to see the sun. It's interesting, all the bridges along this stretch seem to have a name plate rather than a number. It's nice. This is Forge Lane Bridge. Nice little section of the canal, houses right here. It's a beautiful area, this, lovely. Looks like there's some new trees being planted over on the left. It's completely open, it's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. This is the Curdsworth tunnel. Must admit I was expecting something a little bit longer than this. This is Curdsworth top lock, lock number 1. And the bridge you can see there is the M6 motorway, toll road motorway. Well, to say it's been an eventful day is an understatement. Started off brilliantly until lunchtime, and then after lunch I had to come through the Curdsworth flight of locks. There's 11 locks I think in that flight. I got into lock number 2, and as I opened the gate to come out on the lower level, it just wouldn't open properly. Tried everything, and in doing so I pulled my back, so I can hardly move at the moment. Yeah, there's obviously a problem with the gate. We all tried to prod and see if there's anything blocking it, but couldn't find anything. So I've done the last 10 locks on my own, and I can hardly walk. My back is so bad. I've got one more lock to do. So I've just come through the last lock of the day. Can't remember the last day of the day like today. Horrendous. I'll either sleep like the dead tonight, I won't be able to sleep at all because of my back. Nice countryside as I'm coming up towards Fazeley Junction. These are the private moorings. Quite a few of them as well. There's a day boat hire centre here as well, and then as I said, there's just a little bit further on there's actually a marine. It's an ABC marina, but it's called Fazeley Mill Marina, but it's actually run by the ABC boat company. This is Fazeley Mill, a textile factory built in 1886 for William Tolson and now luxury apartments. So, having reached Fazeley Junction, I decided to rest up for a few days to hopefully get my back better. Hope you've enjoyed the cruise, and thanks for joining me.